Yes, it's a great mystery to me in very many ways. I think the process of writing it, the fact that it's worn the way it has over 30 years, it's much easier to see in hindsight sort of where it came from, because we went on that first international tour. It was the first time I'd been away from Australia for any length of time, and I got very homesick. I remember flying from Sydney to Perth. We had to go across Australia to carry on to London on that first trip. I remember sort of being interested to look out the window until the point where we got to what looked like desert and not much in particular. And I fell asleep over the desert and not much in particular, and I didn't wake up for 2 hours. And when I looked out again, we were still over desert and not much in particular. And I think it was that moment, that light bulb moment, when I suddenly went, oh my goodness, the scale of the continent, was suddenly very real. When we were overseas, we ended up in Los Angeles, and Keith was very keen shopper of new music stores and so on, and dragged me to this store in Los Angeles, which was an iconic store, and they had a new gadget there called the Lindrum, which was a brand new type of drum machine. It was the first drum machine that actually, instead of synthetic drum noises, actually used little digital recordings of real drum beats. And I had to have one, so I bought this and brought it back to Australia along with a new 8-track. And in those days, 8-tracks were very expensive machines. In fact, a lot of major albums, including Dark Side of the Moon, were made on 8-tracks, and they certainly weren't the sort of thing that the common household could afford. But this was the first release of a cheap, affordable 8-track, and I brought these two things back to Australia and set them up in a room in Leichhardt. And the very first thing I did when I was learning how to program this drum machine and fiddle around with the 8-track was a demo which I took to the record company, and to this day still remember the reaction, because to me it was just the first of a set of songs that I had to write for an album. But they were immediately reacted to it. Our management, the record company, and all of them reacted to it in a way that I didn't see coming at all. And in fact, it remains a complete mystery to me to this day, the way that people in general have reacted to that song.